This thing handles so well. It is every bit an MT-09 killer. This has made me excited about the future of what Harley Davidson has to offer the American rider and the world in general. Harley, please make a sport bike. Please. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Spite and Whitney's Adventures in Sturgis. I literally told Whitney, pull over right now. Literally right now, we need to pull over. I have a vlog that I need to make, and this vlog is an open letter to Harley Davidson, whoever's watching, from the motor company. It is time. It is time to stop pussyfooting around. It is time to stop beating around the bush. It's time for you to build a sport bike. And we're going to talk about it. So, what brought about this opinion that Harley Davidson needs to build a sport bike right now? Well, if you have seen my review of this Sportster S, you know that I believe that it is a bad cruiser and a secret sport bike. And, you know, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, well, it's got this big belly pan here, you know, it's got a nice stumpy tail, it's kind of got an undertail exhaust like a sport bike, shorter wheelbase, it's got a sport bike rear tire in the back, it's got a sport bike rear tire in the front, but, you know, we've got upside down shocks, fully adjustable, and we've got an amazing engine in this bike. This 1250 is so good. In fact, I think this 1250 is better than that 1250. But enough jibber jabber, let's get on the road. And let me start professing my love and perhaps frustration with the motor company. All right, away we go. So here we are out on Norris something road here in South Dakota, and it is a beautiful windy road that has, you know, just amazing vistas and views. And I've been spending the day on this Sportster S. We've ridden it probably at this point close to 200-ish miles, and man, the more I ride it, the more I'm like, Harley, stop, please. I know you want to make cruisers, and that's fine, but you gotta just make me one sport bike, guys, one. This thing handles so well. It's an unbelievably sharp handling motorcycle, and the engine is so potent. It honestly feels like a modern sport bike. It is every bit an MT-09 killer. If they wanted it to be, you know, this bike, it'll whoop up on any cruiser out there in this sort of weight category. You know, I even think it'll whoop up on the FTR 1200. You know, I haven't ridden the one on 17s, I've only ridden the one on 19s. But I do legitimately believe that this bike is better set up for a sporting ride. Alrighty, so let me break down some of the elements of this motorcycle that make it so sporty. And these are things that Harley hasn't really done before. And they're things that everybody else has been doing for a while. But it's great to see the motor company doing it because they're developing these skills that are going to translate into a sport bike. So, first and foremost, on this motorcycle, we have the engine as a stressed member. That's going to give you a lighter weight motorcycle because there's less frame. It's going to give you better handling because the frame is a little bit more taut going through the engine.
and it feels better. I find stressed member frames handle a lot better than your just general underbelly of frame, you know, steel frame rail machines. The next thing that you see on this motorcycle is we have a proper brake setup. I think it's a little bit under braked for what it is. The setup should really have 2 discs on it. I mean, we are dealing with 125 horsepower, 94 foot-pounds of torque. A single disc up front is a little bit silly. But that one disc is a Brembo that is radially mounted with a radial pull master cylinder. I mean, I don't know a lot of Harleys that have radial pull master cylinders and the remote reservoir like this, and, you know, big old stonking Brembo radially mounted brakes. It's this is on this motorcycle, it's great. It feels so good. Again, I wish there was more bite out of it with a second caliper, but whatever. Beggars can't be choosers, I suppose. The next thing we've got on here that is, you know, properly sporting is this engine. And again, I honestly, I prefer the Sportster's engine to the Pan Am's engine. It's so much torquier and so much more willing to do some absolutely hooligan-y things. I mean, this thing is a absolute hooligan. And I've ridden the pants off this motorcycle. I even gave it to a guy for a quick run down a Mexican highway out here in South Dakota, and we saw some pretty big numbers when I got him on the old speed gun. I'm gonna go ahead and say that it is more than a Diet Coke at it's more than a Diet Coke at a vending machine. Talking about kind of like you know, $1.25, maybe $1.30, something like that. And it is stable as a rock at speed. It's it's very nice, this thing. And again, the engine produces this usable power throughout the whole rev range. It really does ride like a good naked bike engine. It feels like a naked bike. And again, coming back to the handling, it handles like a dream, man. Honestly, I think this is one of the best handling Harley Davidsons I've ever ridden in my time. And the previous honor for that, in my opinion, goes to the Street Rod, which is another example of when Harley Davidson really wanted to turn a cruiser into a naked bike. I really enjoyed the handling on that motorcycle. It was set up really well. And very much like this motorcycle, it was uncomfortable as all get out for me. It was so bleeding uncomfortable. But on the side of the tire, it felt so good, you know? I mean, admittedly, that one wasn't, it was built to a bit of a budget, and it wasn't the best thing in the world. But this thing, the Sportster S here, is leaps and bounds better than that. And again, just ton of power out of this engine. So much power. Just, it's gobs and gobs of useful power. Now, Harley, the Royal U here. Guys, I know you want to do it. I know you do, because you built the Pan Am, and that was different. And you built this, and it's different. And you built the Street Rod, and it's different. You have been trying for so long to get a sporty motorcycle out in the world, and I don't understand what the holdup is. You have an amazing engine right here. You are sitting on your own salvation with this engine. This thing, honestly, this up to a street triple engine, up to a Duke 890 engine, I would have this over basically any of the middleweight engines that I've ridden. It's so torquey and so potent, and it revs out so nicely. And it's more sophisticated and refined than the engine that's in the Indian. The Indian FTR engine is like a sledgehammer. This thing is kind of artful, and it produces usable power. Guys, I'm begging you, please do something with this that is not just another cruiser. I was talking to our Harley folks out here, and they were telling me that there was a sense of pride in the fact that the Pan America managed to top the American sales charts for the adventure bike category here in the States for a couple of months. The sense of pride that the Pan America was beating established motorcycles like the BMW R1250 GS, the king of adventure bikes, the bike that went around the world. The sense of pride that y'all were feeling when that happened. You could tackle any naked bike on the market with this engine. And I know you guys know how to make it handle, because this motorcycle handles really great. I'm sorry if this is coming off like, you know, a bit of an admonishment. I do not mean it that way. I'm so hopeful for the future. This has made me excited about the future of what Harley Davidson has to offer the American rider and the world in general. Because I've been riding around out here in Sturgis, and I've been seeing street glides, CVO street glides, CVO road glides. I've been seeing big, heavy Harleys puttering down the road on these beautiful twisty roads. And imagine a world where Sturgis has opened up to a bunch of different styles of riders, because Harley Davidson, the company, embraced those riders and brought out a sport motorcycle that has captured the hearts of riders everywhere. I can't tell you how long I have been waiting for America's sport bike, and we still don't really have it. I don't believe the FTR is America's sport bike. It's close. And again, I haven't ridden the 2022 with the 17-inch wheels. Maybe that one feels a little bit better, but I don't know, man. It's still not really a sport bike. It's not a sport naked bike. It's just a little too unique. It's its own beast. I know that there's people in the Harley Davidson universe, in corporate, in development, wherever. I know that there are people out there who are interested in racing, because I went to the Harley tent in Sturgis, the Footprint, and I saw them running King of the Baggers on the TV, and I saw them getting excited about those big baggers racing down the hill and at Laguna Seca. And I know that this bike was shot out at a track, I believe it was also Laguna Seca. There are people in that company that are excited about the idea of a performance Harley Davidson that's not just a cruiser, because this bike here is not a good cruiser. It only comes alive when you get it on the side of the tire and when you get the throttle here, you know? I don't know, it's just, it makes me so hopeful that the Bronx is just, it's sitting under a sheet ready to go in Milwaukee, and you guys are just waiting for the right time to drop it, because, man, I want that Harley. I really do. I want a naked bike in my garage. I want a sport bike with plastics, with a big HD bar and shield sitting on the fairing. That would make me so excited, and it would make me, you know, I would go out and buy that the second I saw it. I mean, it's one of those things that people have been dying for a long, long time. So as I wait for Whitney here and get back into Sturgis to wrap up my day with this Sportster S, let me wrap up my thoughts here, because I've been a bit all over the place with this vlog, mostly because I am extremely passionate about the future that this motorcycle offers here. Harley, please, if not for me, for all of the other riders out there who don't know the pride of walking out and seeing a Harley Davidson in their parking lot, please make a sport bike. Please. You have all of the technology. You have the know-how. You just got to do it. And I will put my money where my mouth is. If a Harley Davidson sport bike comes out with that 1250 and it handles this well, I'll buy it. I'll be the first one in line to buy it. I'm not kidding. I really will buy it, because there's a sense of pride in owning a Harley, and there's an experience of owning a Harley that you don't get anywhere else. And, you know, some people think that's a little silly, but I mean, it's a Harley Davidson. So that's gonna wrap it up for me, guys. I hope that this makes it to somebody in the corporation who is just as excited about the future as I am. And I really think that all it takes is one brave soul in the company to make that Bronx go, or whatever, that naked bike concept, sport bike concept, whatever it is. I cannot wait for the future. So that's gonna wrap it up, guys. I will catch you guys in the next one. I have to go take this 1250 Sportster S back and give it to the lovely folks at Harley who brought us out to Sturgis to check it out. And we got to get that Pan America over there back home. So I will see you guys in the next one, and hopefully you're all as excited about the future as I am. See you later.